Hi everybody, I'm Dawn, this is Frank, we are Art Greco Designs. We're here in Turks and Caicos and it is our last day of a 9-day adventure, and we just wanted to have a little debrief and talk about the things we liked, the things could have been better, or the things we really hated. So let's get started. Hang around to the end of the video, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff. We'll talk to you in a minute. A little bit windy out here, but the ocean is a lot calmer than it has been for the last few days. So hopefully the camera won't again. First thing we wanted to chat about were the flights. We took Air Canada here about 9 days ago, and Air Canada used to be our fave. Now they're getting cheap and chintzy and nickel and diming you for everything. So we weren't allowed a carry-on, just a personal bag. And then if you wanted another bag, you had to check it for $35, whether it was a little bag or a big bag, didn't matter. And
that's what we did.
That's what we did.
One bag.
One bag.
And our 2 personal bags.
Right. But the one bag was checked. If you want to sit together, you have to pay for that too, which we did not want to, so we did not sit together, which is fine. So
she sat in front of me, and that way we avoided anyone kicking her, at least. Maybe not me, but her.
I hate it when people kick me in the back. So when we checked in, where it's supposed to say your seat number, it had standby. Old school, standby means you may get on the flight or you may not get on the flight. It depends.
Poor choice of words.
Very poor choice of words. I think they need to change that if you're listening, Air Canada. But that's not what it meant. All it meant was when you go to the gate to actually get onto the plane, they assign you a seat. And that's why there are hardly any seats left, because people are scared they can't sit together and they cough up however many bucks it costs to reserve a seat. What was it, like $60? $60 a seat,
each.
So that's $120
extra,
just to have the joy of sitting beside your partner for 3 hours.
And you know, it doesn't matter because now we're sitting beside each other, so it doesn't really matter.
And if you're watching a movie, who cares who's beside you?
Yeah.
I did
Agreed.
watch a good movie. I watched
I did not watch anything, but yours is so good you forgot what it was, right?
No, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Madonna's husband, Guy Ritchie.
Right.
Guy Ritchie's version of King Arthur, and it had the guy from Sons of Anarchy was King Arthur. Lots of action. It kept me riveted for a couple of hours.
And they also gave us free wine, which was nice.
They did. I always enjoy free wine. We were just getting ready to check in for our flight home tomorrow.
Only a few moments ago.
We're flying Delta to Atlanta and then
to Toronto.
On Delta as well?
As well.
Okay. So we're flying Delta, Atlanta to Toronto.
But guess what? We're not checked in.
We're not checked in. Why aren't we checked in, Frank?
Well, there's 3 things they needed. They needed Arrive Can, which we said we did, and we did. We also needed all our passport information, which we filled out. But the second part of the 3 things that we had to fill out was about contact tracing. And for some weird reason, they won't give us, we can't put in our Canadian address, and we're not staying there. I think the reason for contact tracing is if you are going to stay in the United States, they want to keep track of where you are, which is fine, but we're not staying, and we can't put in contact tracing because it's just a layover of 2.5 hours, and now we can't check in. They will not let us check in, and I called, and there's many minutes of waiting on the phone.
Higher volume than usual. Surprise, surprise, especially if the government in the States is still off. Then all those people at airports are working with no pay.
I pity all the people that work.
Feel really bad about that.
So hard with no pay. That's incredible.
Anyway, so we'll have to do that part when we get to the airport here in Providenciale tomorrow, we think. We hope. Fingers crossed that they'll be able to get us boarding passes for both flights, and it won't be an issue. So we're heading home tomorrow, and that's it about flights, I think.
Yeah. I think our next topic is taxis.
Not necessarily because we wanted to, but kind of a necessity for some
Yeah.
situations.
There's no public transit, and when they do charge you, they do it for 2 people. So if you want to come to the middle of Grace Bay, which is where we are, from the airport, it would be 33 American, and we give a little tip
Together.
So that's not horrible, but if you have to go back and forth, that's 70 or so American, which is over $100 Canadian.
To get to your place and then back to the airport, it would cost you about $100. Also, we had to take a taxi because we did a couple of excursions
Our own
in the middle.
excursions, yes.
We had to get back to the airport to take the little plane to Grand Turk, which we'll talk in a minute. And we also had to take a taxi to and from the ferry port, the ferry terminal, and
Yes.
back.
And that one was a little less. It was $20
It wasn't quite as far.
to the ferry terminal, 33 to the airport.
Okay, but other than that, we've been walking everywhere.
We are in a very good location, very central. We're only 10-minute walk at the most to the hip happening place downtown.
It's slow season, so it's not really hip or happening, but it's like the
it's
place
nice.
where all the
It's-
shops
it's
are
nice.
and all the
there's
restaurants.
grocery stores. It's nice.
Very nice grocery store there.
Lots of access to the beach.
Yeah. To the beach, we don't have to take a taxi to the beach. Our hotel is just
Around the corner, not
around
too
the
far.
corner, but not on the water. But we have a shuttle which comes on demand whenever we decide we want to go to the beach. You just
And we have chairs which we're sitting on, an umbrella provided for us every day, and that's part of the deal of our hotel.
Yeah. But we don't have to take taxis here
No.
or there. So most of it was walking. We got a lot of our steps in. It's all about our health. We're not getting any younger. And that's it for taxis, I think. So we're just going to take our last taxi back to the airport tomorrow, and we will be done with them. Thank you to Ron. He was our taxi driver for several little stints.
Yeah, he did well. He did
He
well.
did. We liked Ron.
Yeah, he was from Washington, D.C.
Originally from here.
Yeah.
Went to the States for 40-something years and then came back. We heard a lot of his stories. Food and drink. Ain't gonna lie,
I ain't gonna lie.
this beer is pretty darn tasty. This is a lager, local beer from Turks and Caicos. They make a lager, they make an IPA, and they make something else.
A light.
A light one.
Now it's quite good and much cheaper than any other beer. And this was from the grocery store.
Every time we went to the grocery store, we had to get a few more. Ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah, ain't gonna lie.
And a bottle of wine for me each time.
It was good, and no complaints about the beer. But it's quite expensive at any restaurant or any kind of bar.
And they have a lot of little variety stores where things are far more expensive too, but the grocery store wasn't bad for prices.
I'll give you an example. The first night we came, we went to the restaurant that was adjoining to the hotel, and we asked for water. We just wanted still water, but we ended up with a little bottle of water, not sparkling, and it was over $8 US, plus your service fee and your tips and all the other good things. So it's at least $10 American. And then I went to when we rented a car, I went to a Price Saver, or I'm not sure what it was called, but it was
like a Sam's Club.
like a Sam's Club, and I bought 40 bottles for $10. So
Much better deal.
one bottle equals 40 bottles, same price.
Crazy. So food is pricey. At restaurants, you won't get away. We most of the time would share.
And
Often
still,
an appetizer and maybe a meal or a couple of appetizers. And a drink for me, Frank wasn't into that high spendage.
I wait.
So
I ain't gonna lie.
you couldn't get out of a restaurant for under $100.
American.
Whether it was lunch or dinner or whatever. So we did a lot of grocery stores. We had a microwave in our room, and ate what we had to eat to survive. We didn't go all fancy.
Once a day, one time a day out, and the rest of the time we just ate in.
Tonight we're going to the Mexican
Cantina, that'll be fun.
Skull Rock, I think it's called, for happy hour. So maybe we'll get a deal.
I doubt it.
$2 off my drink. I don't know. We'll see. But if I had to live here, couldn't afford
Very
to eat.
expensive.
Well, I could, but not much else. We didn't do a lot of excursions, but we did do 2 quite large ones, pricey ones.
And also a car rental and a sunset cruise. So we went out 4 times.
Right.
Plus just beach and pool.
Sunset cruise was the first one, and it was, what, 100 and something each?
American.
And it was an open bar.
I tried really hard to make it worthwhile.
The ocean was relatively calm, so it wasn't too rough, and it was good. It was good. A little pricey, but
Fun. It was a lot of fun.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, and the captain and the crew were fabulous, and it was...
And they actually changed the departure pier, and we had to go a little farther, and they were nice enough to offer us a free taxi back and forth, which is
to the pickup
pretty decent.
point. Because originally the pickup point was going to be just down the beach from where we are, but it ended up being quite a walk. So that taxi was nice too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
It was called Caribbean Cruising, was it?
Yes.
No, Ocean Vibe.
Ocean Vibe.
Ocean Vibe was a sunset cruise, and the night was great, and the sky was not clear, but it was nice enough to get some beautiful shots.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. The second thing we did was we rented
a car.
And Frank drove around this island, Providenciale, so we could see beyond Grace Bay Beach.
Different beaches,
area.
different areas. Yeah. And I rented it with a company called Economy Bookings. And they owed me a credit because I had canceled a car rental previously. The only problem with that is because it was a credit, I couldn't use my credit card for the insurance, or CDW, which is not really insurance, but it covers your car rental. And therefore, it cost me even more money because I did get insurance. I didn't want to take a chance. And I wanted a Jeep, and I got a different car. What kind of car was it?
We got like a Nissan Kick or something. So it wasn't a Jeep.
I would think that when you order a Jeep, you should get a Jeep. I understand sometimes they say something and similar.
This was not similar to a Jeep.
But we had booked this long time ago, and that was a little disappointing because I paid a lot of money because I wanted a Jeep. Otherwise, I could have rented a small putt and paid $50 US, which in retrospect, I wish I would have done. But I had that extra credit, so I kind of had to use it and get it out of the way because you only have a certain amount of time to use it, or it expires. So I probably won't use that company again, and I would just probably just rent on my own. And I also found out too that it was delivered to our hotel, which was fantastic because had I had to pick it up, that would have been another $100 US.
So we would have had to pick it up at the airport.
By taxi, so it worked out good.
Yeah. So there's some positives and some negatives with the car rental. And then the next...
But wait, before I continue, in retrospect, I would not have rented a car here because if you stay in the area we're staying, this is by far the nicest part of the island. It's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. The next day, we hopped on a little plane. I don't know if it was a Cessna, but there were about 10, 12 seats in it. Just a little one from the airport, and we went to Grand Turk Island, which is the smallest island.
No, It's not the smallest, but it is a much smaller island.
Smaller island.
And the capital is there, Coburg. And that is where all the cruise ships go. So the cruise ship area is beautiful, but I chose to do this when there were no cruise ships, and this probably was not a good idea because it would be busier, and we had no access to the cruise ship area, which is really quite nice and touristy, but they wouldn't let us in that area. We couldn't get in, so we just had to go the rest of the island. We probably drove through the little town about 3 or 4 times.
We rented a golf cart from the airport, and drove around the entire island, and that was very doable.
And that was really nice because they actually delivered to the airport, which is phenomenal because it would have been a good 25, 30
And I
minute
think
walk.
that was called Rent a Buggy, those guys, and they were very, very good as well. But you could have gone around the island probably 12 times in the amount of time that we had.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing happening. The little town has a little bit of charm, colored buildings, there's some cute little cottagey places, some funky old piers, but not a lot to do.
We did see some furry donkeys
Donkeys and
dogs, a lot of
doggies
stray dogs.
all over the island.
They were nice, they were gentle, except for one.
The area around the lighthouse was also not open. Like there were other places we could have gotten down closer to the water, but they weren't accessible. I think the island pretty much shuts down if there's no cruise ship in that day. And that's the day we went. But it was an experience. Hopped back on the little plane, flew back here, and the other experience we had was
A ferry ride
ferry ride to
north and
North
middle
and
Caicos.
Middle Caicos.
And we also had a rental car as part of the package.
And that wasn't bad. It was an overcast day, which is too bad.
It rained a lot.
It rained a lot. The mosquitoes on Middle Caicos
They greeted us.
were brutal. We didn't take the bug spray with us, but I was totally sprayed and I was totally eaten alive, especially when we went into Indian Cave, which was this really funky cave and it had roots coming down through holes in the top part. But it was so buggy, you couldn't even stay in there to get a decent
When you
picture.
opened the car to get back in to drive away and escape, about 50 mosquitoes came in the car with us.
They were not welcome. So we had to roll down the windows and drive really fast till all the bugs got out of it. The other really, really nice, probably the nicest place on
It would be Middle
Caicos was Mudgeon Harbor. And it was so powerful, the waves. It was amazing. There was rock formations out in the water that kind of looked like a laying down dragon.
It was very cool.
And the waves crashed on him or her and then came
And it was like waterfalls on the rocks. It was
quite
very
a
cool.
ways up.
Very powerful.
It was amazing. That was well worth seeing.
Yes.
And what else? That's kind of it for that trip.
I think so. Nothing, again, that was another day. It was Sunday, so nothing was open. So we couldn't go to the other cave, and there were no restaurants, nothing. Nothing
No,
was open.
nothing was open.
There were 3 gas stations, though. So I made sure I got gas, and that wasn't too bad.
Gas around here is almost $7 a gallon. I don't know how that translates exactly to Canadian, but it's a lot.
That's like, I'm going to say $2.50 a liter-ish, in that range. So
That's a lot.
Very
That's
expensive.
kind of double what we pay
Yeah.
in Port Franks and Ipperwash at the good gas stations.
Yes.
Overall impressions of Turks and Caicos. Frank, what do you think?
I love where we are right now at this very moment on the beach. The water is probably the calmest that it's been since we've been here. It's definitely, of all the islands we've been to in the Caribbean, and I'm going to say we've been to at least 25 or so, like quite a number, this was by far the most expensive. They, of course, everything's in US dollars, which is the way it is in every island in the Caribbean, plus their own currencies, except this one is totally American. It's very interesting that this is a British territory, but the US dollar is king, and a lot of the spellings, like harbor, for example, if it was really British, it would be H-A-R-B-O-U-R, but it's not. The U is not in there. So in Canada, we have the same as British. It would be H-A-R-B-O-U-R, but here it's spelled H-A-R-B-O-R. So even though it's British, I'm gonna say there's a lot of American influence, and actually most of the tourists are American, and I think second but a smaller amount would be Canadian. And I believe also many years ago, Canada almost owned the Turks and Caicos. There were issues. Uh, the British didn't want to give the Canadians the islands, but then there was a time where we may have taken the islands, but then I think the Canadian government decided that it was probably a risky venture, so they didn't bother. Even though it wouldn't have been a bad thing to have an island that we could just kind of flock to as our own island. But that's the way it is.
We can't have it all.
Can't have it all.
A couple of things we did not highlight in any of the YouTube videos that we did. One is that they say Columbus's first landing was on Grand Turk, but then they had a question mark behind that sign,
it's
so
probably,
I'm not sure
it's
if
probably
that's
a big question mark.
true
I doubt it.
or just a vicious rumor. And the other one was by the airport, there is a spaceship
Capsule.
and it was supposed to have been the capsule that John Glenn landed in. He apparently splashed down very close to Turks and Caicos
Yeah,
here.
and it looks authentic.
It does look authentic. I did take a picture, but it was not a great picture, so it never made it in any of the social media stuff. Anything else that was... There are a lot of... on North and Middle, Caicos, I can't remember which one, a lot of failed projects. Looks like a lot of people with a lot of money came, thought they were going to build these great big huge resorts.
It's unbelievable what we saw.
Specifically over there, and they're just kind of half built and abandoned.
Like ghost towns.
Which is an absolute shame. I can't imagine how much money people sunk into projects and then they could
amount of
never
work.
finish them,
was
which is too
unbelievable.
bad. There's still a lot of construction here on Providenciale. It seems to be far more prosperous than the other islands that we visited.
Yeah. I'm going to say, overall, would I come back here? I don't know. There's lots of other islands to explore, and I do like to explore other islands. But I would not say not to come here because it's beautiful. And when I finish this taping, I'm going in the water. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
Gonna go for a splash and then we have to go find another beer somewhere.
And maybe try to check in or not. But we'll see what happens.
We'll get on the plane. We'll make it home, one way or another. Well, I think that might be it, guys. Thanks for coming on the journey with us. Oh, Frank's got something else to say.
I was going to say, if you have any comments and you want to tell us your views about the Turks and Caicos, feel free. We would love to know. Like, we're not experts. We were here for 9 days. What we saw, we enjoyed. There were things that were okay. Some were excellent. So if you want to tell us anything in your comments and make sure you like, we really need some likes. We got to get
and subscribe.
And subscribing. Definitely subscribe because we want to keep doing this, and we want all of you to watch the videos we're creating now, plus all the past videos. Dawn has created some beautiful videos that I'm sure you would love to see if you took the time to do that. So
Thanks,
enjoy them.
Frank.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, that's it for now. Talk to you soon. Ciao.
Bye.